Cuba, both a place and a state of being. I hopped on a plane in LA and in less than 5 hours was transported to a land of many faces, stunning beauty, and boundless optimism. Political realities here have made even the simplest travel planning difficult, and I decided finding a good tour company to help me experience Cuba in a deep, responsible way would be a good idea. And I found a great one, Cuban Adventures. I partnered with them to put together a 10-day trip across western Cuba, and they didn't disappoint. They arranged my transportation, accommodations, and put together an itinerary that showed me a side of Cuba I'd always hoped to experience. I started in Havana, where I sat down with Andy, my guide to the city. He wanted to get an idea of my travel interests. Suggestions were made, but mostly he listened. And he got it. Understanding what I was looking for, he showed me Havana through the eyes of a local. He took me to a bodega and explained details about Cuba's economy. We visited a boxing gym where great Cuban fighters had pursued their dreams. And a barber shop where I shot the breeze about baseball. I was in heaven. We walked the Malecón on a Saturday night, and instead of opting for a tourist spot, we grabbed street food and chowed down on local chicken.
So good.
Over a couple of meals, Andy explained Cuban Adventure's sustainable philosophy.
In Cuban Adventures, we have a saying, people of a profit. It means people are the important part of what we do. And we center our attention on people first, both the traveler and the places where we go.
Cuban Adventures uses casas particulares, guest houses instead of hotels. This gives the traveler opportunities to interact with local people in a positive way and to experience a more culturally authentic side of the island.
Having pictures on the wall where they can ask about members of the family that in the house where they're staying. Having a breakfast while the lady is preparing the kids to go to school. This is the best way to see Cuba.
It also ensures that a fair amount of your tourist dollars go directly into the community, and that's a good thing.
Hola, hola.
Transportation can be a little bit tricky in Cuba. There are a few ways to get around, and you'll want to choose the one that's right for you. Cuban Adventures handles it by using their own comfortable air-conditioned minibuses. Their groups are small, 16 or less, and there's always plenty of room on long rides. And I like that they pay attention to the little things, like refillable bottles on their buses to cut down on plastic waste. If you're in a small group, it's possible to arrange transportation in a classic American car. I jumped into this 52 Chevy and I hit the road with my driver, Javier.
An experience sometimes should be different for every person.
No matter how you decide to get around, a Cuban Adventures tour can be personally tailored to an individual. Guides are available to give suggestions, answer questions, and encourage guests to seek out and discover what interests them individually.
Some programs that have certain things that are included, other groups that have nothing included, and then they want to do their own thing. That's when we start working.
The Vinales Valley, a traditional farming community and UNESCO World Heritage Site just a few hours from Havana. I headed here to hop on a horse and see tobacco and coffee farmers practice their trade the way they've been doing it forever. There's so many things to do here. You could even choose to visit Finca Paraíso, an organic farm where you can volunteer to work and get an up-close look at Cuba's growing sustainable farming movement. We hit the long road to Trinidad, but the advantage of having my own wheels was that I could stop wherever I wanted. And Playa Girón is the perfect midway pit stop for some adventure in the water. Americans know this place as the Bay of Pigs, And after everything I'd read about that chapter in history, it was mind-bending to see it's a place of such breathtaking beauty. We approached Trinidad along a 2-lane highway that felt like we were heading back in time. Trinidad, a colonial treasure where the red-tiled roofs and tight cobblestone streets breathe atmosphere. I soaked in Trinidad's fresh air and unique vibe. But Saturday night in Cuba means one thing: rumba, and Javier knew where to find it. Every visitor to Cuba should try to hit one of these wild parties where people gather to dance and sing to Afro-Cuban percussion grooves. It is an unforgettable experience. Cuba is a magical place that needs to be experienced intimately. And Cuban Adventures, with their small groups, commitment to sustainable practices, and understanding of what each individual traveler is looking for, gives you that opportunity.